Let me hit send there. Welcome to our last Live at Thrive of the school year. It is good to see you again, sort of like through that little hole. It's very confusing through the screen. Anyways, I'm Martin. I'm the Gathering Students Pastor. I'm really glad you're here at the end of what has been a good school year, even if it's been a weird ending. You all should know that I just posted something on Instagram as a question. If you were here the last couple days, you know that I said the first person to answer the question that I put in the Instagram story would win a prize, a $10 gift card to Grubhub, and our winner has already arrived. Alexis Spittle coming in, I'm pretty sure in like 10 seconds. So what's mostly amazing about that is that Nick Spittle of younger Spittle fame won our first Grubhub gift card. So $20 of Grubhub goodness is going towards the Spittle house, which is probably too much. But friends, it's good to see you guys. We've said as long as we've started Live at Thrive that we wanted this to be a place where, as much as anything, people can touch base and be real and be loved for exactly who you are. And so no matter who you are, this is a place where you can be welcomed and loved. We said at the beginning of Thrive, the very first Thrive 2 years ago, that we gave out these shirts that said, "You are welcome," and that's what we believe. No matter who you are welcome. And so, in our chat, we'd love to hear how you are doing. Again, just one word in the chat. How are you today? Are you bored? Are you excited? Are you tired? Are you angry? Are you pissed? I don't know. How are you doing? Maybe it's something you've binged, like Friends. Maybe that's your answer. Friends. I've been binging Friends. I don't know what people are watching. Grace, you're great. That is awesome. I think someone in the middle school round said like spectacular. I was like, I didn't know anybody was doing spectacular right now. So Grace, I love to see that. All right. So before we get going with our game tonight, we've done this a couple of times. We have sent a pizza to the winner of our game. So congratulations to our last two winners. We're going to do that. But before we hop into that, we know that this school year has been weird. This school year has been, Sadie, relax. I love that. It's been a good school year, even if it's ended weird. And so our question to open the night, besides like how are you doing in one word, is what was the best part of this school year? And maybe you're in a core group leader and you weren't in a core group, and so you're not sure. But if you have been alive from August to today, you have had a school year. What's been the best part of your school year? Like Hannah and I got to go to Norway. That was awesome. That was in Labor Day. That was way back at the beginning of the school year. But that was incredible. Or we just got a dog. That was more recent, but our dog is better than yours. And it's fine. Like, I love your dog too, but just know that ours is maybe just a little bit better. I don't know. So what was the best part of your school year? Jessie Lynn got married. It's really hard to be better than getting married. I don't know how to top that. That feels like winning, I think. So, yeah, I don't know what to do to beat that. Let's see here. Football marching season, yeah. I love like looking back at the fall because maybe the end of this hasn't been so good, but it hasn't all been crap. Football games, Lucy, yeah. Jessie Lynn, also done, as in the school year is almost done. The finish is one of the best parts. You know what, that seems real and fair. I can support that. Let's see. What else do we have here? Corey, you went to Africa. That is also fairly spectacular. So, good job being awesome. That feels pretty sweet. Yeah, cool. So before we do any more of that, by the way, keep answering that. Whatever your best part of your school year was, we'd love to know about it. But going to Asia, y'all traveled, and I know I said Norway, but somehow like you alls feel cooler somehow. I don't like that. But here's our game tonight. Our game tonight is a game called Alphabet Hunt, and here's how Alphabet Hunt works. It's fairly straightforward. We're gonna put a letter on the screen, and that letter is going to be the letter. You have to come up with 3 words in a category I choose. So I'm getting all kinds of tongue twisted here. But I'm going to say a category while our chooser is choosing a letter, and you have to type in 3 words that start with that letter in our chat. So we're going to play one practice round like we usually do, and we'll play one real round for pizza. So this round is not for pizza, but still like vitally important to winning. It just so happens that the person who won the practice round in the middle school Live at Thrive won the real round. So it's worth practicing your speed. So let's do one practice real quick. While we're looking for a letter, the category is going to be, let's see here. The category is going to be animals. First person in the chat to come up with 3 animals that start with the letter F, you will be our winner. I'm looking for 3 animals that start with the letter F in our chat. Go. That is, let's see here. I'm looking for 3 letters, or not 3 letters, 3 animals. Let's see. Susanna, I've got fox, flamingo, fish. I see fox, frog, fish from Alexis. Grace, I got fish. Fine work. And Grace, your keyboard might hate you, but we love you. You're loved here, even if your keyboard doesn't love you. Jessie Lynn is congratulating someone else who won, so that counts for something. So go ahead and clear your keyboards and clear your cues, and we are going to run one more round. And again, this is for pizza. We will send a medium pizza to your house free of charge with 1 topping on it if you are our winner. So, on your marks, get set. Let's start spinning. And this round, our category is going to be people's names. Boy names, girl names, unisex names, doesn't matter, just people's names. And here, I'm not talking about things like Apple. I'm talking about common people's names. I just want to be very clear about that. Here we go. Okay, I need 3 names starting with the letter I. The first person to show me 3 letters with the that start with the letter I, 3 names that start with the letter I, you will be our winner tonight. So who has 3 names starting with the letter I? Let's see here. What do we have? What do we have here? I'm looking for 3 names that start with the letter I. Jessie Lynn coming through quick with Igor, Ivan or Ivan, or Isaac. Lucy coming in, Ian, Yvonne, or Isaac. Very good job, Lucy. Unfortunately, you were the second person, so after winning Grubhub 2 weeks ago, you are going to come in second to Jessie Lynn, who got married, who had so many things happening this year. She's done with school. It just feels right. So Jessie Lynn, just let us know what kind of pizza you want. Let us know what kind of pizza you want in the chat, and we will get it to you as quick as we possibly can, which means right after we're done here. If I've been a little bit distracted, I apologize. It's because I was sending pizza to our winner from the previous stream. So I apologize for not being completely 100% present. But, Jessie Lynn, fine work. apparently there are not a lot of I names in the lexicon. We could have maybe found a better letter. I don't know. But again, it's good to see you guys. If you weren't here earlier, we were just asking what the best part of your school year has been. We know that pepperoni. Okay, we know that this year has kind of ended crappy, but we know that it didn't always been that way, and there's still been some cool stuff that's happened in the last couple weeks, even if it's been really different and really not the way we would have planned it. So, but we have said that we wanted to celebrate the end of the year and finish these 5 practices that we've been talking about. So, even though it doesn't really look a whole lot like summer outside, it's getting a little bit brighter. I did wear my lei to celebrate summer vacation, and tonight we're going to talk about these last 2 of our 5 practices about worship and about giving, because we've said for the last couple of weeks that these practices are things that create space for us to experience more of God, and they're places where the more we do them, it's not like we earn God points. It's not like we get special treatment from God. It's the way that we create more space in ourselves to experience God's love, to experience God's presence in our lives. And so tonight we're going to have to kind of fit in 2 at once. We're going to fit in worship and giving, but we're going to start with worship. And maybe it feels like worship should go to the top of the list because it is the thing that most of us do every single week. It is the thing that most of us do on Sunday mornings or maybe Sunday evenings. And some of us worship, at Thrive or at Webster or Clayton or here at McCausland. Worship is this thing that we go to once a week, but the truth is when we practice worship, it is nothing to do with a place we go, but it's a thing we do. I'm convinced that worship is a much better verb than it is a noun, which I know sounds kind of silly, and you're like, we're done with English. School is basically done. I'm not getting into parts of speech. Listen, I get it. We're not going to do an English lesson, but verbs are action words. Nouns are things, and worship is a much better verb than it is a noun. We worship. It's an action. It's a celebration. When you worship something, you idolize it. You celebrate it. You adore it. That's what worship is. It's not a thing we go to in a sanctuary once a week. Worship is a participatory activity. That's why you can go to worship and not do any worshiping. I've been part of those worship services where we go and we fall asleep. I spent most of the time in church when I was in middle school and high school sleeping on my dad's lap. And yes, I do know that sounds kind of silly, being like a high schooler who is sleeping on his parents' lap, but sometimes I just put my head down on his shoulder. But I was not a great church participant when it came to actively worshiping. It's because worship isn't just a thing we go to, it's a thing we do. It's a celebration of how big God's love is. It's a celebration of what God has made and who God is. And you might experience worship and experience God in a church sanctuary. There's no doubt. Maybe playing in the Funky Monkeys or leading music on a Sunday morning or sitting in the pews or the aisles on Sunday morning. That's super real. But it's also true that we can experience worship. We can worship anywhere. I love to tell people that my favorite place to worship, well, 2 of them are on mission trips with you guys. I love getting out of my weekly routine, my weekly rhythm, and just going and serving for a week, and at night worshiping with you all. There's something unique and special about those places. But my other favorite place to worship is outside looking up at a clear night sky. And you might be like, that's not worship, there's no church. I would disagree completely. Because when I look at the night sky, I see the fingerprints of God everywhere. My favorite story about worshiping outside, some of you all heard this, is when I was in high school, I was out late at night looking at the night sky. I was in a park sitting on a swing set by myself. And it was 11:30 at night, and I was looking out at this beautiful sky thinking God, this is just amazing. the Milky Way, there were shooting stars that night. Like everything about it was perfect. And as I was leaving, this cop pulled me over as I pulled out of the parking lot. And I'm pretty sure that he pulled me over because my car looked a little suspicious, and he thought I'd been doing drugs at this park, which is hilarious. For the record, I was not smoking pot, but he pulled me over, and he's like, "If I go back there and I see anything suspicious, I'm gonna get your information. I'm gonna come find you." I was like, "Listen, sir, I didn't do anything suspicious, and frankly, if you do find something, I had nothing to do with it." I was just like looking up at what God made, which I think made him more confused. But I love looking out like on a hike in the mountains and just seeing like, God, over the billions of years, you did all of this. That is worship to me. Just like coming here in the sanctuary and singing loud and praying with friends, going take communion, experiencing God. Worship is not a thing we attend. It is a thing we do. It's a practice. Which leads us to giving. And giving might be the most unique and different one because it costs us something. I mean, the others like cost us time, they cost us some of our attention, our energy, but like giving costs us like cash money. And I think it's so important because Jesus spent more time talking and teaching people about money than he did anything else. And I think it's because he knew that money is at the root of more of our troubles, more of our worries, more of our anxieties than anything else. When we want something, the way that we get it is buying it with money. If we want to feel secure, if we want to feel like we know that we're safe, usually that's tied to, do I have enough money in the bank account? Like, if I want to go do something, can I afford it? Or even better yet, like, I don't think people are going to like me if I don't have these shoes, and I can't buy these shoes if I don't have this money. Like, money is at the root of a lot of our concerns. It's a lot of our security, a lot of our identity. Like, can I do this is tied a lot of times to, can I afford this? And it's like God gave us this incredible tool to stop worrying so much about money. It's this thing called giving. The best way I've ever had this described to me is like gravity. Some of you all have heard me talk about this. And the way gravity works, the bigger an object is, the bigger its gravitational pull, which is why the sun literally pulls the planets into orbit because it's so big. And what's funny is the sun is giant, and it's still like pulling matter towards it because it wants more. That's how gravity works. The bigger something is, the more it wants, the harder its pull is. It's just like money. It's why if you've ever visited a village in the middle of a poverty-stricken country, their problems are incredibly real. But what I've always found to be true is I learned an incredible lesson in joy and gratitude when I've visited people who live in those villages, because their level of worry is so much lower than ours. It's why someone who lives in abject poverty in a country we'd consider in the third world can have more joy than someone who lives in a mansion here in St. Louis, because the way we worry about things looks totally different. Giving is our way of letting go of some of that anxiety and that worry. Giving, I mean this with all my heart, friends, I didn't give money away at all almost until I was like 24, 25. And someone shared this idea of gravity to me, and I've given away money every year since. I give away like a tenth of every cent I make without even looking at it. And here's why. Since I've been giving away money, I've thought and worried about money never once. I know that sounds really silly. Like, I have less money and I worry about it less. But the truth is, the more I've given, the more freedom I have about money, the less I worry about it. And I know that where I give it, I am investing in God's kingdom. I give it to the church. I give it to people who are collecting money for important things. I give it to organizations. as I give out money, I know that I'm investing in God's kingdom here on earth. So real quick, a question as we spin this forward. What's the best gift that you've ever given someone? Not that you've ever received, but what's the best gift you've ever given? What's something that you've given away? You're like, yeah, that was a darn good gift. I am proud of myself. That was as thoughtful as it gets. Add that to the chat. We'd love to see it. But in the meantime, while you're doing that, a couple things. If you look down below in the notes to this stream, there are a couple links. And down below the CoreGroup link, there's a link to a Gathering Students worship playlist. And it's a playlist that we made just for you guys. There are songs that you may have heard at the gathering, or songs that are on the radio. Some of them are brand new, some of them are years old. They're songs that we think help us focus on worshiping God. Some are fast, some are slow. It's a Spotify playlist that you are welcome to subscribe to. You are welcome to add to your collection. We'd love for it to be a place where, as you fall asleep at night, you can fall asleep to that music. Worshiping as you fall asleep. What a crazy idea. And then down below that are two links where you can give. There's a link to the gathering. And you might think, giving money to a church is weird, just people asking for money. I can tell you that's not true. Here's why I say that. Because when we invest in this church, we are investing in people experiencing Jesus. When we give to this church, you are supporting wells in Mozambique. You're supporting the literacy project so that elementary school kids in this city have a chance at a future because they've learned to read. You're investing in Thrive and core groups where teenagers like you are experiencing Jesus. You are investing in sanctuaries and worship. You are investing in adult core groups. In food drives for LifeWise like we had 2 weeks ago, or blood drives like we had the last 2 weeks at McCausland and Clayton, where people who came gave more money, over 100% of the goal of the American Red Cross. That is making an impact in the kingdom of God. But maybe you don't want to give to the gathering, that's okay. Down below that is a link to the St. Louis Area Food Bank, because we know there are a lot of people in this city who don't have access to the nutrients that we have, the healthy options that we have, because maybe they don't have grocery stores anywhere near their neighborhood. And they rely on food banks to be a source of their food. Kids in the city who maybe don't have lunches that they rely on every day. And they are meeting that need, but they're also running short because it is very hard to keep things going because they're struggling like everyone else. So maybe you only have $5 to give. Don't ever think that God can't use what you can give. There's nothing too small that God can't multiply. And maybe you say, I'm going to give $5, and you go to your parents and say, hey, I'm giving $5. Why don't you give $10? $5 for each of you. Or maybe you're giving it to, go to your siblings, say, hey, I'm giving to the St. Louis Area Food Bank. Why don't you join me? We wanted to create space for you to give. And so right down below, there are places to give. Paintings for friends. Sadie, that's awesome. That's an incredible gift. I hope they were handmade paintings because that would make it 1,000 times more amazing. But real quick, before we go, this is our last Live at Thrive and our last Thrive of the school year. A quick update on what is coming up. So it's the end of the school year, friends, and we know it's been a weird end. It's kind of been an exhausting end, and some of us are doing great, and some of us are just trying to get to the end. We're going to take a little summer vacation for the next 2 weeks because, frankly, we all need it. We all need a break. Next weekend is Memorial Day weekend, and we're going to take a little bit of break between here and there, and then for the next week. And then when June rolls around, we're going to do just some Zoom game nights, some Zoom just fun, and we're going to check in. How are you doing? How's life in this weird time? And then some of you all have asked if we could do some kind of a Bible study where we talk about what the Bible is. Like, where do I start reading? I don't even have the first idea of what to do. What is the Bible? How do I read it? How does it impact my life? How do I not fall asleep when I'm reading it? All of those are great questions to ask. And so we're going to do like a Bible 101. How do I read the Bible? And we're going to read it a little bit together. We're going to study it and have some reading plans to do during the month of June. So if you're interested in doing a Zoom like Bible 101, I'd love to do that with you guys. It's going to be hopefully a lot of fun. And then we're going to do these game nights. We've talked about, most of you know, our mission trip with Next Step and Camp Barnabas got canceled this summer. And there's no one who's more bummed about it than me. Those are things I look forward to every single year, and I love doing them with you guys. We are trying our best to figure out how to do a mission trip here in St. Louis where we can bless our city. We've been talking even before quarantine started with some organizations in North St. Louis about how during the next school year we could all partner together and we could serve our city during the school year. Well, we're going to try and do that this summer. We're not sure what it's going to look like as this summer goes along. We're going to follow guidelines, see what our health departments and leaders are saying in terms of restrictions. We want to make sure everyone is safe, particularly people we might serve. But we're trying to figure that out. So that's a little bit what this summer is going to look like. In the meantime, you can always find us here on Instagram and YouTube. Now, if you want to be part of our This Kind of Sucks webisodes on YouTube, we'd love to have costume breakfast with you. Follow us on Instagram. We've been finding out all kinds of weird stuff about you guys. It's kind of awkward, actually, the way that I'm learning you all don't like Crocs, mostly like baseball. It's fun getting to know things about you guys. But it's going to be a place where we kind of keep in touch over the summer. And hopefully we get to a point in July and August where we can start actually meeting together again, even in just small ways in parking lots. Because, again, friends, more than anything, I miss you guys. I know the end of the school year has been not what any of us imagined. For you seniors, I love you guys so much, and I'm so sorry that the things you were most looking forward to in your senior year got stolen from you. Just know that you are loved, you are celebrated, and you have your whole life to look forward to, and we're going to keep celebrating you every step of the way. For the rest of us, I know it's been weird, but also we're going to get back to normal. And we're going to get back to meeting together, and until then, we're going to persevere. And we can do this. And I've said this every week at the end of gathering students live at Thrive, I miss you. I can't wait to see you in person. It's going to be amazing, no matter what it looks like. I hope you guys are doing incredibly. And for our last core group tonight, really all we're going to do is celebrate the year that's been. We're going to have a little bit of fun reflecting on this quarantine crisis and some of the weird things we've had to do. But mostly we're just going to celebrate the year we've had. And as we go through the summer, just enjoy a little bit of time together, even if it looks a little bit different. But friends, with that, we're going to sign off on our last Live at Thrive, hopefully our last Thrive on YouTube ever. But until next time, know that we love you more than anything except the love of Jesus, and that you are loved. And our prayer for you this summer is you stay safe, you stay healthy, and that you know that you are wrapped in God's love. Until then, go enjoy your core groups, and we will see you, well, when we see you. Bye, friends.